Hello everyone, it's Makeda Valletta, also known as the Body Scientist, and I hope you all are doing well today. In case you are unfamiliar with me, I have a background in exercise and sports science and nutrition science, okay? I got my degree in exercise and sports science with a minor in sports nutrition and a concentration in strength and conditioning from the University of Delaware in 2003. And then I went on to complete a couple of years in graduate school in a program in applied physiology and nutrition at Teachers College at Columbia University. I am an NSCA certified strength and conditioning coach. I'm a USA Olympic weightlifting coach. I am a sports nutritionist certified by the ISSN, and yada, yada, yada. Okay. And I've been doing this for a long time. I've been working, I graduated college in 2003, but I was even doing it in college. So I've been working in this field for a long time. And I just wanted to do a video today about exercise and COVID. There's a lot of misinformation that gets put out by the fitness industry, and I have videos where I talk about that as well. There's a separation between the fitness industry and exercise and sports scientists, because a lot of people that work in the fitness industry don't read research, they don't have a background in the exercise sciences, and so there can be a lot of times disconnects and things, just important things that a lot of trainers are unaware of, okay, and coaches and things like that, in the general public. So most of us know that exercising does help to boost our immune system, okay? If you notice, all the athletes, all the NBA players that tested positive for COVID, none of them seem to have gotten really sick. They all seem asymptomatic. And this probably has a lot to do with the fact that they were high-level athletes, and especially power sports. Because some sports and physical activity can be anabolic or catabolic. Anabolic means it builds your body up. Catabolic means that it's breaking it down. Now, even when you build your body up, it still needs to get broken down to get built back up. But when you're doing too much breakdown and not enough time or nutrients and things for the body to build itself back up, then you have catabolic, which is like, if you're doing sprints, someone that's like running sprints, 100, 200 meter sprints, that's anabolic. That builds muscle. You look at sprinters, they have muscle. They have thighs and booty, and they have muscle. When you do distance running, people who run for miles all the time, that's catabolic, okay? It causes people to lose muscle. You look at distance runners, a lot of times their knees are hurt, their ankles are hurt, their hips are hurt, they're losing muscle. So all exercise is not good exercise. All exercise is not the same. Strength training is like one of the most important things that everybody needs to do. I have a video about that. I'm not going to get super in depth about that. But strength training, power sports, and exercise, okay, anabolic exercise in general is very good for us. It helps to keep our immune system strong. This is an important part of the equation. So during this COVID pandemic, gyms are closed. There are a lot of people who are used to going to classes. You know, like my mom, for example. I got her, she was going to her yoga twice a week. She was going to her water aerobics class. Sometimes she would do spin. And my mom is 70 years old. Like maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, I really got her into exercising. Now she was just like addicted to it. And the gym's closed, and she doesn't have that. So a lot of people, there are people who are disciplined to work out on their own, and there are people who are not. There are people who don't have the space and the resources to do it on their own. And a lot of people need instruction, okay? A lot of people can get hurt working out on their own too. So there's a lot of complications with that. But with the fact that a lot of people's routines were disrupted, like if you took dance classes, there's no dance classes right now. And you can dance at home, but it's not the same as going to a dance class, right? So, and exercise is important. We don't want to sit down and let your body rot, okay? You don't want to do that. This is not the time to get weak either. And so many of us who are into working out, we know that we're detraining. I know I'm getting weaker every day, okay? So, with that being said, there are some things that you do want to consider, though, because a lot of people want to go outside and jog in the park and work out in the park, and that it's a normal desire, right? I live right by the park and the beach in Chicago, and because I can't lift weights, I really want to do plyometrics, which is like when you're like power jumps and explosive jumps. I really want to do that because that's the only way I can really challenge my legs with not having any weight. And I can do plyos because in order to do plyos, before you do them, you need to be able to squat 1 to 1.5 times your body weight. So just the average person who cannot squat their body weight should not go outside doing plyos because you can hurt your knees and hurt your joints that way. I also have a video where I talk about that. It's called Strength and Power. But you have to be careful because the thing is that, people, lots of joggers outside, okay? Especially, no offense to the white people, but white people love to jog for some reason. I don't care where it is in the world. I always see white people jogging. They cannot sit down no matter what's going on. And before this COVID pandemic, I thought that was a little bit gross sometimes when I was walking down the street in New York City and somebody's jogging by me, breathing out hard, sweating and breathing and shit. And I used to always think, why are you running down a city street doing that? Take that to the park. That's kind of gross to me because, you're huffing and puffing your hot breath and your sweat as you fly by, right? So I already felt like that. Now, in the midst of this COVID situation, despite what people might think and despite what you might have heard, it's airborne. I said this in the very beginning, that this virus is airborne. It lingers in the air. So if you go outside, like when I first looked at San Francisco, when they were on lockdown and people were outside in the park and they were jogging and walking and bike riding, and I kept feeling like there was too many people because if somebody jogs or runs right past and then I'm walking a few steps behind them, now I walk right into the air. They just breathe their breath out. And that it can linger in the air for a couple of hours. Like nobody really knows if it's a couple of hours, if it's 30 minutes, but it lingers in the air. It doesn't immediately just disperse, okay? So if you're outside and, you got people jogging past you, you're running and you're close to other people in other people's air bubbles, then you're also greatly exposing yourself, okay? That's number one. But not only that, when you're outside working out, when you work out in general, you tend to take deeper breaths. You start taking deeper breaths, right? When you take deeper breaths, now you're inhaling so much more and so much deeper, which is a good thing when you have good air. It's not a good thing when you don't have good air. This is the reason why I always thought it was crazy that you would see people jogging next to the highway. You're not doing yourself any good by jogging next to the highway. Any cardiovascular benefit you might have thought you were getting, you're canceling it out by breathing in deep gulps of the fumes from the cars, okay? And so breathing, that's something that I used to teach in certain classes, and I already was aware of, like, certain breathing techniques. Like, whenever I walk past air that is funky, that it stinks, when I walk past people that look funky and stink and disease-infested, I hold my breath, okay? Before this COVID thing, when I would see somebody sneeze over there, I'd be like, or be in a yoga class, for example, which I don't really do yoga, but any kind of yoga class or a class where they start doing yoga stuff, and they want to be like, everybody breathe in, everybody exhale, ah, and everybody just blowing their hot breath and you can hear the sound, that always grossed me out. Every time I was in a room full of people doing that, I would hold my breath. And I've always been very conscious, because a lot of people don't even realize that when they're talking to you, they be breathing on you. My mom does it a lot. I love her. But she will exhale like she'll just be like, looking over here and then be like, and just breathe in my face. And I always hated that. And whenever I would try to tell her, she would take offense to it. Like, people get offended. But I've always been aware of people's hot breath being blown in my face, in my bubble. Okay? So a lot of people aren't even aware that they do that. So you, being in a well, we can't go to any classes right now, but I always use those breathing techniques, like hold my breath at certain times. If somebody around me was sneezing, coughing, or I'm in a room full of people blowing their hot breath out in the air because we're being led through a meditation, I would hold my breath. Everybody else is exhaling, I'd be like, holding my breath, okay? So there are methods, or like when I get in a car, a lot of taxis and stuff have artificial scents. I would immediately open the window, stick my head out the window, hold my breath, try to get fresh air. I've already used breathing techniques to kind of to make sure I don't inhale in too much toxins and chemicals, okay? And so this is something that's needed now as well. Like if you're around somebody and they sneeze, I would immediately turn my head and hold my breath and walk away, okay? So you don't breathe in that air. So now when you combine that with exercising outside and people's hot breath and, like, and the New Yorker in me can already be kind of antisocial, I don't really like being bothered. Like when people always would talk about people New Yorkers are mean because they don't talk to people, which I think is crazy. And actually it's not true because New Yorkers do talk to people a lot. People in New York will talk to you about anything. So it's not true that New Yorkers don't talk to you, but we don't say hi to every single person we pass. And I like it that way because a lot of times I don't want to be bothered. I'm in my head, I'm thinking about something. I don't want to have a conversation with you, but it's funny because like now in this midst of this COVID thing, I'm thinking everybody should be aware of that. And I'm walking down the street and people are walking next to me, talking to me, and like, keep you and your breath away. Now, we do want to exercise, okay? Because sitting around definitely is not helpful, okay? And working out does help to strengthen your immune system. So if you have access to weights and you already do strength training or you're doing something strenuous, okay? You want to do strenuous things. Even if you have access to like a lot of stairs in your house or in your building. And even if, but you still want to be careful with, you want to be as isolated as possible if you're going to be working out outside of your home. So if you're outside, there was another ambulance, I hear them all day. So if you're outside or if you like go in the stairs in your building, just make sure that people aren't around and that you stay out of people's bubbles, and that if you have to pass somebody, like if I was outside and I had to pass somebody, I would hold my breath for a second instead of breathing deep while I'm around this person, right? So we have to be conscious of that. This is like one of the issues I feel like with going for a jog in the midst of this pandemic. I don't know that that's the best thing unless you're like totally isolated. But in urban areas, you have a lot of people jogging on the sidewalk, jogging in the parks around a whole bunch of other people. And, they're taking deeper breaths, so also blowing out their hot breath. And just understand that the wind is not just blowing it away. The wind could also blow it into your face, So you want to be aware of that. And that's the reason why being inside really is important. People that have yards, just stay in their yard. If I had a yard, I would just stay in my yard. I wouldn't even try to go out in the midst of the public to try to work out outside. Just work out in your yard. You want to really be aware of that. You want to be aware of the breathing. You want to be aware of that you can breathe in other people's respiratory droplets even when they're not there just because they just breathe in the air. You need to understand that when you start breathing deeper and taking deep breaths in and out, you start taking in bigger gulps of the air deeper into your body. So you just want to be conscious of those things. And for the people who were, like my mom who's used to going to her aqua aerobics and used to doing yoga, and some people really like classes. I find that a lot with women. A lot of women really like classes and that support. It's important to find ways to do things at home the best you can to maintain the bare minimum, just so you don't completely backtrack and detrain and become completely weak and let your body waste away. This is not the time to become weak and let our bodies waste away. Okay? Somebody like myself, I see a lot of people talking about not wanting to gain weight during this pandemic. I'm worried about not losing weight because for me, if I'm not using my body and I'm not engaging in strenuous activity, then I start to lose weight. I'm not as hungry and I lose weight. I gain weight from working out. Like when I do sprints, when I lift weights, when I engage in strenuous activity that tears my muscles up and builds it back up. That's how I gain weight. So for me, sitting around like this is like, I'm not trying to get thinner, And I tried to order some strength training equipment from my apartment, and to my surprise, everything was sold out. I tried to eat, everything was either sold out, the price was marked twice up, or it can't get shipped to me until June, okay? Like, I got a trap squat barbell, thing. It's like a trap squat barbell thing. It's like a square. And I can't find weight plates, okay? Nobody has 45-pound weight plates. And 45-pound weight plates are not cheap. They cost like $100, okay? But I can't find it. Everybody is sold out, back ordered until the summer, and that's it. And then with the Bowflex, like there's something called a block weight by Bowflex, where you can it goes from like 5 to 52 pounds, and you can, like, depending on what weight you want. Like if you want 10 pounds, you put it on 10, and you pick up the weight, and the rest of it stays in the ground. If you want 20 pounds, you put it on 20, you pick up the weight, the rest of it stays in the ground. So you don't have to have like a gazillion dumbbells in your house, which takes up too much space, and is also really expensive. But that Bowflex system is $350, right, on a normal day. But when I look on Amazon, it's $700-800 now. Okay, it's like $800 for it. And when I look on the Bowflex site, they're sold out indefinitely. And then you have I look on Walmart, Dick's Sporting Goods, sold out. So I was like, wow, I didn't think there would be such a shortage on fitness equipment. But for all I know, it could be made in China, and who knows when we'll have it again. So it's going to be a challenge, because for me, simply using like little exercise bands doesn't do much for me, and so I need more weight. So it's going to be a challenge for a lot of people to kind of maintain their fitness during this time, but it's important. This is not the time to get weak, okay? And I would say at this time, taking a walk is better than jogging, because when you're walking, you're not breathing in such huge gulps of air. So you're better off just walking, okay? Plus, jogging puts stress on your joints anyway. If you live in a hilly area, which I'm in Chicago, which is so flat, one thing I don't like, but if you have access to some steep hills, just walk up some hills. You get a way better workout and way more beneficial to your body just walking up some steep hills than you will jogging outside, okay? So I hope this video was somewhat helpful. I'm going to end it here. Let me know what you're doing to maintain your fitness during this time. And I was probably going to start doing some exercise videos, but I was trying to get my equipment. I got some things. And yeah, make sure you follow me on YouTube, The Body Scientist 81. Make sure you follow me on IG at _body_scientist. And we'll speak soon. Bye, people.